Hey guys, thank you for watching. I'm actually not in the jungle. I'm out in my backyard. I thought I'd record a little intro. In this case, I am just wanting to ask you guys to, go ahead and like and share and subscribe to all the SketchyGOichie platforms, particularly here on YouTube, also on can't hurt to go over the old Instagram. I'm constantly posting stuff there. So thanks again and enjoy the video. All right, we are diving right in. We're gonna go right to the sketchy stage. It just occurred to me, not just now, but SketchyGOichie is the name of this. Probably should focus a little bit on the sketching part of it. Maybe, I don't know, perhaps. So this is what we are doing here, sketching. And hopefully this will emerge. I mean, obviously if you've seen the intro and you've seen the little thumbnail, you can tell that it is Mysterio from SpiderMan. And hopefully you can tell he's sitting in the barber's chair and getting a little cut from our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And the whole principle behind this is just to kind of do a little fun, kind of cartoony take on both Spider-Man and Mysterio. And I thought it would be really super fun if he is kind of, he's sitting in the chair, which is to take a cut by Spider-Man, which to me is hilarious, but the fact that he's got a little bit of his, he's losing a little bit of his magic ability too. And then you can see, and hopefully you will see in future sketches, or should I say further sketches in this particular piece, you will see the thought process, the sketching stage. It's kind of, to me, the most important initial stage. It's the stage that a lot of young artists want to skip. They want to get right to the final art. And perhaps this is, not perhaps, I'm actually pretty certain, 99% certainty that this is maybe the most important part of any piece of illustration, the concept. It is the one aspect of it that you control. You control as much as your clients will allow you to. In this case, the clients on this we're all friendly. So this is so this part of the process, the sketching stage, is to me so super vital to having a successful piece. It's the part that I like the most. Hopefully that's evident. I like coming up with the different poses and the different expressions and the different positioning. And what you can see is happening here is me sort of trying to get a feel for what composition works best. Obviously once I have Mysterio in the barber's chair with half of his hair already clipped away, the task at that point was figuring, how am I going to best incorporate Spider-Man into the piece? And so it's here as me kind of monkeying around with his legs and trying to find the right position, because I wanted him kind of to swoop by. I think the concept, I'm not sure who put it out there, if it was if it was my boy Tony, or if it was Alex or Mark, but the idea of from Flawless Cuts, if you're wondering where those names come from, in Fall River. Go get your hair cut there. Anyways, it's just kind of fun little take on the barbershop theme, and it'd be kind of cool if Spidey kind of swooped in and gave one of his villains a nice cut. So this is me trying to determine what is the best positioning for that. And as you can see here, initially I had it sort of away from Mysterio, sort of back in the background a bit further. And then at some point I thought it might be a little better compositionally to have him sort of tucked behind, like he's swooping behind and about to shoot a web off camera to hit out of frame. And then you can see here I'm kind of toying around with the size and the proportion, and this is the point where I decide, I'm going to give some of that sort of that magical energy that Mysterio has, and him sort of conjuring up some energy. I don't know if it's to capture Spidey. I don't know what the what the concept is here, but I'm just kind of having fun laying that in. And this is me sort of figuring out, all right, I want to obviously throw the clippers in there. I'm sorry, the shears in there. I better get the terminology correct. And you know, I don't want barbers to unite against. But yeah, so the you know, the idea of, you know, laying out the composition to me is you know, so important and so essential that you know, once you capture it the way you want it, you know, the act of refining it is a lot easier because you've already got the foundation. It's like building anything. You've created that foundation in the composition, in the sketch, in the loosest form. Then you go back in and add super refinement. And you also have options. So this is me here trying to see, you know, what it would look like if we did Mysterio with his dome, that dome helmet, globe fish bowl thing that he has. It's me kind of toying around with the idea of, you know, what if he had his helmet on rather than holding in his lap or by his feet where it ultimately winds up. And then, of course, now I've got to figure out where Spidey goes in relation to that. So this is me sort of having him a little more mischievous, kind of tucked behind, like all the way behind Mysterio, and sort of kind of sneakily, you know, kind of grabbing his helmet, maybe about to remove it, and about to take out the old shears and give him a cut. So this one maybe is a huge aspect of sketching, particularly in the concept stage, is the storytelling aspect of it. You can ask anyone who does illustration or art in general. If your piece tells a story, then you're really successful. You're ultra successful if it tells a story that's really evident at first glance. And that's you know, a challenge sometimes. Well, actually, it's a really good challenge. Seriously. So yeah, it depends on the piece, but the thing is, if you obviously if you I say practice all the time and probably feels a bit redundant, but if you practice enough and you study enough, the storytelling comes. It you know, obviously you have to push your creativity to make something really unique and different, you know, and that's what's so important about this sketch stage. You can see me here just freestyling, just having fun. You know, I thought maybe a quote might be kind of fun to throw in. Then I sort of, you know, erased that, and again I could move away from that. I was like, well, does the hand over the dome there, does it feel a little awkward? So, you know, erase that and re-render the hand. You know, how, you know, I was thinking probably here, like, how really would his leg be? Would it really be tucked behind that helmet? You know, it's feeling a little awkward. So, you know, it's just sketches. So it's the thing that I actually even try to push in my professional life. You know, obviously I'm doing this piece for fun, but in my professional life, I try to push, you know, clients to like maybe spend a little less time on the finished art. By that I mean, you know, obviously you have to spend a tremendous amount of time on the finished art to make sure it's executed properly, especially if it's production art. But what I really mean is spend less time doing the highly rendered stuff and more time on the concept, at least initially, right up front. And in doing so, you'll kind of capture everything you need in loose form. You're not spinning your wheels, you're not burning a lot of time and money, and a lot of the artist's energy, frankly, doing these super highly rendered things that may get changed, or you know, ultimately the client might see a different direction for it. And so if you kind of work all those kinks out here at this stage, I think it's wiser use of your time and money. So anybody watching this is, you know, has a product and they're using illustration or design, I would extremely highly recommend you consider that. So I'm moving on close to the end of this. You can see that I chose that pose, and that's ultimately where the finished art goes to. And moving on, I will take you on step 2 to the next stage. Yes, the finished art. Maybe we'll do an inking one first. So stage 1 down, sketching down. Speaking of which, SketchyGOichie, live your moment. Happy sketching, y'all. Stay tuned for part 2. Coming soon. Peace.